Dear dignitaries and dear friends, at the outset, I would like to thank the British Council for having invited me here for this wonderful young women's social entrepreneurship development program, which is really a subject that I and I'm sure the rest of the dignitaries feel very passionately about. And in this regard, I would like to thank the British Council for coming up with such a program and for supporting a good number of projects across India for fostering the spirit of social entrepreneurship among young women. Social entrepreneurship is not something very new to our country. Since the times of our father of nation, Gandhiji, he's been encouraging all of us to form a cohesive unit, either it could be just a female unit or a cohesive unit of citizens to come, cooperate and work. And that is how we started with all these Khadi Kendras. That is when we started coming up with the cooperative societies in India. Well, in few states, it really did do well. Some states like Kerala still have a very, very strong cooperative society system. Some states like Telangana, Andhra, we do not have as strong as they have. But social entrepreneurship is something which is very close to our hearts, and in India, as a culture, from our father of nation, we have learnt it. But unfortunately, fortunately, we do not have a proper specific policy, I would say, to help especially women to become social entrepreneurs. There are some policies, but there are of course also some lacunas in it. I think as a first-time member of parliament, I believe they should be addressed as soon as we can. And we all know that, like elsewhere in India, our societies are riddled with multiple problems and long-standing issues that remain unresolved by the institutions and the government sector. Now this is where social entrepreneurs have attempted to step in to challenge, question, and rethink concepts and assumptions. They try to work on existing infrastructure, plugging the gaps, providing time and innovative solutions to alleviate problems that exist at grassroots level. As an example, I would like to quote not an Indian social entrepreneur project, but an African project, where one of the companies decided that we need to make sure that there is huge awareness of AIDS in Africa. They were thinking about it, how to do. Government had their own programs, various civil societies had their own programs, but how do we do it was a question. And not many people, although for the fear of having AIDS, they would not go out and do the testing done. That did really cause a great deal of problem in Africa, because Africa has the biggest number of AIDS. Now this is when a Norwegian company, a social entrepreneur, he decided that why don't we just use messages to send to these people in their native language, just to bring about the awareness on this disease. They started doing it. Initially they started it with a very low number, because obviously any social entrepreneur project wouldn't get that deal of money in the beginning. But they started it. Now I believe they send messages to at least 30 lakh people every day. And the best part is, out of the 100% messages that they send, 40% have gone to the clinics to test themselves. That is a big, very big leap. And not all governments, I'm sure Ratna Prabha madam would certainly say yes to this, not all governments can achieve this kind of a target. So this last minute links can be very beautifully tied in by the social entrepreneurs. And that is where we need all these groups. Particularly, I would say, in India, a growing number of women are starting or running businesses. But they have for long been proactively contributing towards these diverse sectors, ranging from education to healthcare, to renewable energy, to working on violence against women, etc. They've also been employing many victims, as well as they're helping other women to get the jobs. Living example is Alip, Ms. Ramadevi and Kove, of course. They work on the grassroots levels to make sure people who are not formally educated, maybe not even formally trained, to pick them up from the grassroots level, to train them, give them the support, give them the mentorship, give them the hand-holding, I would say, to get an access to the financial availability, and then make sure that they become a success stories. But when this entire concept is really good, but as any woman, I am also a very staunch feminist at heart, and I fear, Is this something to say that women cannot have access in mainstream corporates, so go and start social entrepreneurship projects? Is because many statistics show that in social entrepreneurship projects, women do not have a ceiling. They go to the topmost position, they are there, they stay put. But in a regular corporate sector, they always go and stop at a certain level. So yes, I want women to certainly spearhead the social entrepreneurship movement, but all of us together, because there are many, many business women here, I would wish to say that in regular corporate sector also, women should somehow make sure that we break that glass ceiling. And unfortunately, India, as of now, does not make any good use of its women's workforce. Promoting entrepreneurship is so very, very down below in the agenda, unfortunately, of the governments, both central and states. But I would like to quote a United Nations figure and International Labour Organization. This suggests that India's GDP could jump by 4.2% if more women were drafted into the workforce, not even into the entrepreneur level, just into the workforce, and our GDP could go up by 4.2%. But how do we achieve that? As I said, yes, social entrepreneurship is an easy way where we could bring in more and more women into this. I was just speaking with Ramadevi ma'am from Alip. She was suggesting I could employ 10,000 women if you could just cooperate with me on the district level. That's a huge thing. Governments cannot do that kind of things easily. But I believe this is how we should slowly start and picking up. And as I mentioned earlier, apparently women are twice as likely to reach the top echelons of social entrepreneurship when compared to the mainstream businesses. Now this is where my dear Samya and Padmaka, all of us have to work together to make sure we reach to that board levels. And Indian women somehow do not receive a lot of support when it comes to the professional advancement, both by governments and families. India is ranked at a miserable 115th out of 128 countries in the 2013 rankings, which is about how good we are in promoting our women in business. And this ranking is based on how effectively leaders are empowering women as economic agents in the marketplace. Now this is where I need to look at myself in the mirror and think what as a policy maker, what as governments we are doing to promote women and women entrepreneurship. And as I suggested, there are not many formal policies spinned around this social entrepreneurship, and especially specific policies for women. That is something that we need to really work on. But when I interact with the women on the ground level, they do share a lot of challenges that they face. And one of the basic core challenges being a woman itself. Being a woman itself is a challenge. Since in India or elsewhere, we are expected to take care of the family first, we are expected to take care of the household first, and then think about whatever creative or entrepreneurial, ideas or streak that we would have. So for a woman, all of us know, our entire career cycle is inverted. For a man, if the career starts at 20, for a woman it starts after 40. When when the kids have gone to college, kids have gone to school, then you can probably have some time on hand and experiment. So the whole of this cycle is inverted for women. So as policymakers, as civil society groups, I believe that is one other thing we need to work. And I was really interested to know the statistics of the British Council, if you could share some data. Out of the 4,000 women that you have trained, what is the age group? That was really interesting me. Maybe that we should look on, because unless and until we target an age group which will stay there after we train, there is no point in training. So that is one area. And of course, lack of mentorship and guidance and access to finance is what many women say is their next challenge. And in this regard, I would really like to congratulate the British Council for doing that hand-holding part and making sure that you mentor them, train them, and give them access to a lot of information, first of all. And then, as I said, when we talk about social entrepreneurs, in a typical traditional way, India knows about social entrepreneurship, but in a way that it is interpreted now across the world. As in, if I start a restaurant, my entire profits either should go for some social activity or it should be reinvested into my own organization where I can employ more and more disadvantaged group of either women or men. That is what social entrepreneurship kind of means now across the world. And who are they dependent on? How do we get access to funding? It is only on the CSR funding that we depend on now. So that should probably slowly go away, and access to specific funding of social entrepreneurs is a need of the hour. And this invitation really gave me a lot of ideas where I could probably prevail upon the state and central governments to make sure that we get a policy specific to this group can be done. And thank you. And another great part all of us kind of do ignore is technology. Technology could be a greatest good disruptor, and it could help many women scale in one day. You know, the moment a woman or the business gets onto the Facebook, the reachability is unbelievable. So how do we make sure technology is available to these social entrepreneurs is another really good challenge. And also again, I would want to know that what British Council has done in this program and how much of tech mentorship have we done is another area I think all of us like-minded people should be working on. And third area where maybe the business groups and FICCI and PHILO can help us is I believe that there is a need for a social capital markets to be developed in India. Access to funding as to regular mainstream business, if we can have venture capitalists coming in to just help the social entrepreneurs. If we can help venture capitalists just coming and investing in organizations like Kove, Alip, the scalability, the reachability will be multifold, and I think that is another area. So the arrival of a robust social capital market to the financial system could very well prove positively, and it could be a game changer in the sense of, in the scenario of India is what I believe. And to finally conclude, I would like to quote Honorable Shri Abdul Kalam ji. He said, empowering women is a prerequisite for conceiving a good territory. When women are empowered, society with steadiness is guaranteed. And empowerment of women is absolutely vital as their thoughts lead to the development of a good family, good humanity, and finally a good nation. So in this regard, I hope that the social entrepreneurship becomes one of the key tools of empowerment for women. And not everybody is as lucky as Ratnaprabha madam, where she could be at the right time, right place, where she could draft all the right policies for women. And I really hope that chance comes to all of us, and we can all play a wonderful role from policy making to the regulation, to the mainstreaming of these industries, and to handhold the women and help them boost their entrepreneurship skills. Thank you so much.